Hi, everyone. I'm Summer,
I'm Carrie.
and this is Hopelexia Podcast.
Join us to talk about sex, drugs, and self-improvement.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hopefully our guest should be joining us. And you know what? Let me
Okay.
actually
Did they get the link?
let me double check and make sure. You know what?
Awesome.
I hopefully all the tech should be vaguely working now.
Hopefully. I don't know.
It's been
My eyes aren't working very well. They're just watering. So if I look like I'm crying for no apparent reason, just ignore it. My eyes are really watering today.
That's how I feel all the time.
uh,
Like when my ring light is on, constant.
shoot.
What's happening?
Her babysitter just called in sick, and so she doesn't have child's care, and so she needs to reschedule.
Oh.
So okay, we will. You know what? This is perfect, and we're just wait. Hang on. Let me make sure I can. Why can't I see the? Okay, there we go. This is perfect, right? Because this is our life. This is our life. Like we have a plan, and then something happens,
nothing.
and then everything just sort of
fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I mean,
just let us know when she can reschedule too. That's fine.
yeah, absolutely. So presumably because we are recording right now, we will deal with rescheduling after and just sort of go because why not? And I think this is perfect because I mean, this is, by the way, for the audience, this is sort of our battle cry, right? Like whatever it is that goes on in our lives and whatever it is that is happening on camera, my battle cry is perfect. Right. And the reason I'm saying perfect is because this is how our lives go. Right. This is the best laid plans of mice and men sort of thing. Right. And it doesn't matter how well we plan or how well we have all our ducks in an order. Like it always goes to hell in a handbasket. And quite frankly, half the time we're lucky if we have a handbasket. Right. Like it's going well if we have a handbasket.
Yeah. A lot of times it's just the squeaky buggy at Walmart, you know, the one that just goes everywhere.
That's been hit by a car, the wheels like this.
Been through it, but it still works.
You know, that is one thing that I have found. I hear a lot, like, you know, how are you still okay with this? You know, when things change and things are just, and I just kind of roll with things.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? This is not the worst unpredictable thing to ever happen to me. So I guess I can at least thank my daughter for that.
Because,
you know, I'm not managing a crisis. I'm okay. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, my best friend loves to say that she's never met anybody who rolls with the punches the way that I roll with punches. And so, I mean, it's great practice if you want to, you know, if you want to look like you have it all together in the middle of a crisis, like, okay, well, crisis. I'm sorry, this is like a bump, right? And so this is perfect, right? This is so perfect because today we were supposed to be, well, not supposed to, we're doing this, you know, regardless of who showed up or whatever, and just so we're clear, we're not making, you know, the guest who couldn't show up wrong, right? Because life happens.
Things happen.
You know,
I've had
exactly.
childcare cancel on me before it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but this is perfect, right? Because we're introducing our sort of series within our, you know, larger psychopathy series. We're introducing the mini series of why treating psychopathy is a team sport. Right. And so yes, there were three of us that are on this, you know, this screen right now, but ultimately, like the three of us are sort of like we're one we're one parent in this mix, right? And so this is why treating psychopathy is a team sport. Because if somebody cancels because, a babysitter didn't happen, or, your car broke down, or whatever the reason, right? Like you need I'm not a sports person, but you need like a pinch hitter, right? You need somebody else who can step in and help, because it can't just be two of you, right? It can't just be, your single parent and maybe the best friend, or, the two spouses, right? It has to be more than two people, because two people cannot handle somebody like this on their own, period, full fucking stop. Like,
Any community.
yeah. And I don't care if I'm in a wheelchair part of the time, I will cage fight anybody who tells me that any set of parents, including like two sets of fully functioning co-parents, can handle one child like this on their own. I will cage fight and you will lose, right? Like, it is seriously, it is not possible. It is not possible for any parent or any set of parents, even if you're on the same page and in full agreement 100% of the time, which we know, right? Like that never happens even under the best of circumstances. It is not possible for one set of parents to deal with a child like this on their own. So just for, just for practicality's sake, right? That is why, even if, like, aside from all the millions of other reasons that we're going to get into why treating psychopathy is a team sport, that is first and foremost, it is not possible to treat a child like this successfully on your own. I mean, as evidenced by the fact that how many of these, like, facilities will be like, oh, I'm sorry, your child is too much for our team of people with access to Thorazine and doors that lock to handle all by themselves. We're sending them home. Like,
every single facility that I talk to, oh, I'm sorry, she's too much of a security risk. We're sending her home to you. Good luck. Thank you so much. Because I have a full staff to take care of that.
That happened at our hospital.
I'm sorry, it's time for me to take my my 10-minute break. You got this? Right? Like,
yeah.
No, that doesn't.
Yeah,
no.
But that's what we're expecting people to do. And it's ridiculous.
Right. Right.
Well, since we're not going to talk about what we're going to talk about, since our guest isn't coming, can I bring up a topic?
Yeah.
That has been like on my mind a lot. Okay.
Not allowed.
So
Summer, not allowed.
Well, my ADHD is just going to do it anyway at some point, so we might as well just like be prepared for it.
You know
what?
Is it actually ADHD, or is it complex post-traumatic stress disorder? Because the two can be indistinguishable.
In my case, both. Both, because I had ADHD forever.
Okay. Gotcha.
Gotcha. Yes, the complex PTSD does make it harder for me to control.
Okay.
It was
good.
It was much more managed before all of this.
Gotcha. And I just, I wanted to bring that up just because some of the people who are watching might not like, they might still be in the dance of, I don't know, do I have ADHD, or is it complex PTSD? How do I know?
And sometimes you may not know at certain points.
Yeah. And that's fine. It's fine. I mean, ultimately, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck. I mean, does it matter if it's a mallard or a drake, right? Like, still kind of ducks. Anyway, speaking of ADHD and CPTSD.
Now I'm thinking about
Summer,
that.
please continue.
But, okay, so I don't know if you've heard about the story of Next Benedict. They were a high school student here in Oklahoma. They were beaten at school by three older students. It doesn't.
This is their name, or
they're non-binary.
Yes.
Oh, NEX.
Yeah,
yes.
NEX. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, my accent makes things sound funny. So in any event, they died the next day. The news has been
Oh my God.
news has been very vague on what their injuries were. The school didn't call didn't call for an ambulance, but did instruct the mother to have them seen at the hospital. They did, was examined and released. We don't know any, and so anyways, the public doesn't have any actual knowledge of what the cause of death was, because the authorities aren't telling, because you know how that goes.
Right.
But anyhow, so this has my brain, aside from, the fact that it's had me really thinking about bullying and things like that a lot, because my initial reaction when I heard this story, which I've told Carrie this, my initial reaction was, this is awful, this should never happen, all of those things, really hurting for the family. And then my second thought was, I don't know where my kid's going to school. Did my kid do this? Right?
Yeah.
I frantically searched through news article after news article until I found one that said they were older girls. So I'm like, well, she's the same age as Next, so probably not. But it has made me start thinking, like, how do we deal with that? Like, we know, that there
Right.
are kids may harm other people,
Not
and
may,
especially
will. They will. They
the ones who,
absolutely
yes,
will.
the ones who are violent will definitely continue to be, harmful.
Right.
And the older they get and they're adults, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point, right?
Well,
And yours is an adult now. How do you deal with that?
well, I mean, okay, so here's the straight up real fucking talk, right? After our son was arrested, like literally the first thing we did as soon as I hung up the phone with the police was throw our arms around each other and laugh. Like, we were so relieved because we finally knew where the fuck our kid was, right? Like, he was stationary. We knew he wasn't harming anybody. He couldn't get into any trouble, at least not, beyond his jail cell, right? Like, we knew when we heard the police sirens in the background, as you do if you live anywhere that, isn't like the size of a postage stamp, like, not our kid! Woohoo! Right? Like, that siren is not our kid. And that is something that, like, I don't know if parents who don't deal with violent children, and violent children in the way that our children are violent, right? Like, there can be definitely, like, kids with an autism spectrum disorder, right? Like, they might have a meltdown and hurt somebody, but like, they're not doing it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, the kids with the autism spectrum disorders are not on purpose fucking with the kids and hurting with them and laughing about it, right? Like, that's not part of what happens.
The malice
Exactly.
definitely makes it feel different.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, first and foremost, if you do not have a child who is, let's say, has criminal tendencies, let's just sort of go with that phrase. Like, if you don't have a child who has criminal tendencies, you have absolutely no idea what it is like to, every single time you hear a siren, the first thought is that my kid? Because it very well might be. Right? Like, the only time that I ever had that experience was like, oh, it's not my kid, it's because they were on my front porch talking to me and got another call, and it was somebody with a knife, and everybody had to, like, go do whatever they were doing, and like, I knew that wasn't my kid because they were there talking to me about my kid when they had to go, right? But like, it's a really, really awful feeling to wonder if that siren is because of your kid. Right. And it very well might be. And I, I mean, this is such a small, like the stuff that I've gone through, right? Like it doesn't hold, and I hate to sort of, compare pain and compare trauma and yada, 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 right? But as I'm sure the three of us will agree, it's nothing compared to something like when there is that stuff and it turns out that your kid was a school shooter, right? Like, and by the way, let's point out that very, very rarely are school shooters people with psychopathy. Very rarely, almost never. We know Nicholas Cruz, probably Ethan Crumbly, and oh my God, the Columbine shooters, Eric Harris, almost certainly had psycho. I mean, you can see from all of his writing, like it's freely available on the internet, and there is no way that kid did not have psychopathy. But other than that, for the most part, school shooters don't have this thing. But regardless, like it feels like the stuff that we go through, like, right, wondering, oh my gosh, was that my daughter that did that? Right? Like it just, I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like, or I guess I should say I felt, right? Because my kid's an adult now, and now I don't like, now all of the sirens are not my kid's fault. Woohoo! It's a really great feeling. Like it reminds me of, oh my gosh, this is like back to normal life. You're not supposed to wonder every time you hear a siren, oh my God, is that my kid? Right. But oh, cool. Speaking of trauma and ADHD and CPTSD, I forgot where I was going with that. So I think it's a crappy thing to wonder that, and then to make yourself wrong, like, well, at least my kid isn't a school shooter, right? Like there's all this stuff that goes through your head. And by the way, like if you're a parent out there and you're listening, whatever it is that you are going through right now, whatever is you're feeling, it's completely normal. I promise you. And that's the first thing that when parents come to the group, to parents of children with conduct disorder, they're like, oh my God, is anybody else going through, XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, circle, square, dot, right? Like it's anything that you are going through, it is normal. Anything you're feeling is normal. I guarantee you there are thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, possibly even hundreds of thousands of other parents out there right now. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, what's going on in your system, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, it's normal. And there are other parents out there going through the exact same thing. You should probably take a breath. Yeah, I mean, but it's true. Like we look for, like, is this okay? What I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, is it okay? Is that normal? Right?
I mean, I know it's normal. I just want to know how to, like, I need a little switch there in my brain to be able to turn it off,
Right, right.
And right, like every now and then I have been slightly envious of my daughter not having those feelings, because I'm like, life must be a whole lot easier in certain circumstances because you don't have all of that.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And to be sure you never miss an upload, make sure you turn your notifications on. And please come join us on social media so we can continue these conversations in between episodes. You'll find us at Hypoxia Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.